Big disclaimer, anyone can play this game however they want to. We will not be telling anyone how they should be playing Elden Ring, just sharing our opinion on something we've noticed throughout our endless invasions. So don't be posting in the comment section, let anyone play however they want, because we do, you silly goober. Now, the topic at hand, pampered hosts. You've probably assisted one before or encountered one in your invasions. Gamers that are coursing through Elden Ring for the first time, yet they're carrying equipment they should not be carrying or are being assisted by two friends who already completed the game. And I want to start by presenting an example. This was an invasion in level 30. The host is being carried by what appears to be an over-leveled phantom, which is a friend summoned by password whose level is way higher than host's and by transitivity higher than the jester. The jester didn't notice at first because it had its attention solely focused on the over-leveled phantom, but the host was carrying the grafted blade greatsword obtained after defeating the boss in Castle Morn. When the host attacked the jester, it dealt very little damage, and at one point he tried to use the Ash of War, but it appeared as if he was out of mana.
You have no mana!
However, that was not the case.
You have mana!
As the battle unfolded, the over-leveled babysitter departed to meet his maker,
Tried to roll, didn't work.
leaving the host alone. With their whole attention on the host, the jester noticed the extremely tiny baby damage the host was dealing.
Ooh, that's kind of small. Yikes.
So he switched to a shield to test something, and as the jester presumed, the host's attacks bounced off the jester's shield.
What?
Hell, the jester didn't even lose any stamina from the host's attacks. The reason this happened was because the host didn't have the 40 strength points needed to wield the weapon one-handed. Hell, at the level they were playing, he most likely wasn't even able to wield the weapon two-handed. But he kept going anyway. He didn't even bother to change weapons, and after several tries, and realizing the futility of the situation, the host gave up. So the jester then proceeded to boil him alive. Now you may be wondering, how did the host not notice that he didn't meet the requirements for the weapon? How did he even manage to get the grafted greatsword? Hell, how did he even do anything if he doesn't even know about stat requirements? Well, the answer may just be this guy. I can't even begin to count the amount of fat-rolling, clueless hosts we've encountered, using equipment they should not be wielding on at that point in their first run, being carried by over-leveled phantoms, or a combination of both. And while there's inherently no real issue with this, the problem is that this will, at some point, hinder their experience and possibly skew their vision of the game. There's nothing wrong with summoning a friend and discovering the wonders of the lands between together, as long as you properly learn about the game as you go. Something that this person clearly wasn't doing because he didn't really need to. His friend was doing everything for him, only that this time it wasn't enough. It is true that people get comfortable easily and don't like to get out of their little comfort zone, and when they're forced out, they don't like it and they tend to voice it. These voices then influence other people, influencing them to take the same lazy approach, and the cycle then repeats. So, while I can't 100% say that this guy in particular went and complained online after this invasion, I'm pretty sure there is someone out there who would accuse the invader of cheating and post about it on Reddit if this very scenario happened to them, because they would not understand why their attacks bounce off the invader's shield. Nah, who am I kidding? No one can be that dense in this day. Okay, you know, I believe that there should be key elements to be respected to make the most of a first experience in order to avoid these things from happening. One of those is experiencing the game by yourself for the first couple of hours so you can really learn the basics. Having someone do absolutely everything for you will prevent you from learning key aspects of the gameplay because you will never try new things. For instance, how would you know that mindlessly spamming spells at someone doesn't work when you don't have someone to cover the front line for you if you're never playing alone? This host right here learned it the hard way. After his over-leveled phantom with the oversized tampon suffered a fiery death, the host was left to fend for himself. Naturally, he did the same thing he does when his phantom is alive.
Whoa, what the f***? What just happened?
Needless to say, it didn't work. There are plenty of ways in the game to make your experience a bit less painful without resorting to someone solving all your problems for you. Learn about these methods, how they work, and experiment with the game by yourself until you get a good grasp of it. Don't be one of these gamers relying solely on their phantom, because sometimes they won't be there to help you. And you, Phantom, don't let your friends be any of these guys. Instead, guide them. Teach them how the game works, how the matchmaking works. Teach them to overcome things by themselves and be their guide, not their babysitter. Make their experience better, not simpler. You know, teach a man to fish and he will f*** the fish or something like that. Reading the situation and learning from your mistakes is not something people should be afraid of. It's the best part of the experience, and the game was designed after this premise. For example, in this invasion, the jester disposed of the host's friend with a parry.
Dude!
The host was in the room observing everything unfold, so he for sure saw the jester parry his friend. After his friend goes to the Shadow Realm, the guy tries to use the Bloodhound's finesse Ash of War, and the jester attempts to parry the second part of the attack, but fails. This alone should be enough for this guy to never attempt the second part of the Ash of War again, as there was a huge risk of getting parried. But what does he do immediately afterwards?
It was at this moment that he knew that he should have spent more time improving his overall skills by himself. His over-reliance on friendly phantoms and the excessive use of an Ash of War that is quite decent in PvE has left him in a state where his brain basically shuts down whenever he's facing adversity, because that's what he is used to. But now, he realized at this very moment that taking shortcuts in life will leave him with no resources when facing an adversity without external help. He's alone, devoid of options, and facing an enemy many times more experienced, who is after his throat. He trembled in fear and prayed to the outer gods of the cosmos for a second chance to redeem himself and get out of the situation unscathed. But it was too late. His judgment cometh, and that right soon.
Yeah, I bet you saw that coming.
I expect nothing, and I'm still let down.
Of course, this wasn't an over-leveled phantom, but the same principle applied. The host was mindlessly doing the very same thing he does when his phantom is alive, did not even pay attention to what happened, or outright didn't understand it, and suffered the consequences of being carried the whole game.
The game is a piece of shit. I did nothing wrong in that fight whatsoever. Nothing.
Look, I'm gonna say it one last time, just in case. Anyone can play the game however they want. Beating it entirely with a friend is not any less valid than beating it alone. And if you just want to shut your brain and let your friend carry you, that's okay. However, we always like to apply what we learn in games to real life, to get something of value out of it, you know? And expecting other people to always do things for you will not do you any better. You can only get so far with the efforts of other people. If you really want to triumph and become an Elden Lord, it's on you, my little Milanesa. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me for now. My head is killing me.
It's me, your favourite spirit tuning girl. Or, the only one actually. But anyway, the mystery weapon of our last video was the Flintstone Pierce.
The what?
Big congrats to the little rusted nails who answered correctly. Now, try to guess this one. Leave your answer in the, comments below. We'll be seeing you in the next video, little mallets. Bye!
Who hired this dumb bitch?